Hello everyone, it's Man, your coach of the Montello Crobats, and welcome to the recap of the Pokemon World Circuit. Pokemon World Circuit. Well, we didn't make playoffs, obviously, because, honestly, let's just start. Yeah, our score overall was 1-7, only winning one game with a negative 17. I literally said to myself on the last game is like the only way I'm going to make playoffs is by 6-0 to my opponent and everyone else does horrible. Everyone played it very well. It was more or less just, I wouldn't say luck issue as well because I've gotten some lucky hits as well, so it was more, I can't really point it out. I can't say it was luck. I think it was more of a skill issue on my end. I made a lot of misplays, and essentially my opponent was better. But yeah, I can't really just fault like anything that like luck or anything. Okay, one game maybe, but actually, wait, no, 2 games, because I'll get to that Pokemon later. But yeah, let's just talk about the Pokemon. Dashbun! Our basically signature Pokemon. Honestly, this Pokemon did a lot more annoyance than you'd think it can do. With its yawn strategy, basically forcing my opponent to either stay in there and stay asleep, or switching the Pokemon out, having Wish, and honestly Protect. It was a good Stallmon just to at least help set up for anything else. That being said, Dashbun doesn't do well in singles from one of my people on my front office. It's better in doubles, probably in another draft league where I'm part of a doubles league. Probably that I might have to look at that, but it's a very good Pokemon, even though it's a tier 2, and keep in mind tier 2 is low. It's just competing against a lot of other things that could easily hit it. Not to mention its warm ability, not being like a lot of fire type moves, also helped out. Haripagos! I need to get you glasses! Even though you got 5 kills! You missed 2 times with your Meteor Beam that I needed you to hit with. It's a very strong mon. It's my first time using it. If I actually had access to basically terrestrialize it, it would probably be a lot better, but in this kind of format, it is a little more restricted because of that. Greninja! I think I underutilized this Pokemon because this Pokemon came in on the first game, that poison spike, and it got 5 kills somehow, but those were like either passive kills or just kills from Battle Bond. It's like, if I get Greninja again in our league, I really need to utilize him a lot more. It's just into situations where I really use poison spikes or even regular spikes against my opponent, and they can easily just get rid of it. Not to mention, it's like, why would I bring this Pokemon over another Pokemon? But yeah, I feel like I underutilized Greninja. Mega Charizard X! They gave me a Dragon Dancer, and I failed to use it. It got 2 kills. It has a reason to be scary. The moment I get like a Dragon Dance or 2 off, it could do a lot of damage. But my opponent saw that. They took care of it quickly. Honestly, it's like, I have to be careful of Stealth Rock, because if Stealth Rock comes in, Mega Charizard X becomes almost easy to take out if you don't count into Dragon Dance. Crobat! I've learned a lesson with Crobat. Don't use him as a defogger. After I stopped using him as a defogger, he became a lot more effective in my games. So if I do have a defogger or a rapid spinner, Crobat is not it. Better to get in there, take some kills, and then get the heck out. Ogerpon! Why don't I remember using you? I brought you in 3 games, and essentially you came in, you looked at them funny, and you got hit. I probably won't use Ogerpon again. Maybe I'll use a different form of Ogerpon, but again, like Terrapagos, it's my first time using it, so hopefully, I believe it's just like Terrapagos, it's probably a lot better when you can Terrasilize it, but again, restricted format. Crocodile! Another mon I did not utilize that well. Honestly, with its ground typing, and because of another Pokemon, my opponent has basically prepared for it constantly over and over. So it's like, I throw you in, get your attack buffs, and then you get taken down. Which, I think we're getting close to that Pokemon. Oh no, Reverie! Another Pokemon that's underutilized. Special shout out to Bloody for pointing this out in one game where, honestly, if I did go for a stat buff, I think the results of that game would have been slightly different. I might have still lost, but slightly different with that differential. I gotta learn to essentially gauge out the HP and how much damage it goes through, because I could have gotten another gear shift just to up the power of Reverie and just essentially take out everything. Or at least do a decent amount of damage. Pickable! Why are you okay, here's the thing. There was not a lot that my opponents had a weakness, electric or bug, so it was very tough bringing it out, and when I did bring it out, I think the only time I brought it out was to use Sticky Webs, and essentially that did help me in one game or two, but I've got to figure out how to better use Pickable. Gastrodon! The target for grass-type moves. Every time I've been prepping, I always had to yell, why does every Pokemon learn Energy Ball? Because every time Gastrodon comes out, it was basically my lead Pokemon. It could easily either set up Stealth Rock or essentially just take a hit. It can't take a hit if it gets hit by a Grass-type move. And that's what annoys me a lot. If I do bring Gastrodon, I gotta be wary of how many ground-type, water-type Pokemon I bring along with, because it is literally the target for grass-type moves just be hit, and the amount of energy balls that I had to take with this thing. Mismagius! Actually, this is a whole different story. Originally, this was Floatzel's spot, but after going against that Rain team, I don't see Floatzel being any use of. That's why you'll not see stats for it, because stats are going to be 0, 0, 0, 0. Mismagius honestly could have done a lot better in practice. I got her stat buffs up. It could easily sweep. It's just a matter of I didn't bring out Mismagius at the right time, and it's just my opponent played better. I'm not going to consider anything into luck factor here because there was nothing RNG-wise with that. Only Pokemon that had RNG that basically screwed me over was Terrapagos. And credits to my front office. Basically, thank you to Goats, Pinky, It's Miller, AO Poison, Bloody, and Pirates for essentially just helping out with prepping the teams, figuring out what I needed, and essentially with Goats just being a punching bag just so I can figure out what the heck am I doing wrong here. But with this league now over, thank you to those who watched the games, and until next time, league, join us next year for another league, or for those who just watch my content periodically, till then, another project.